going on, dude? How's everything going?
What's up, man? I haven't seen you in a minute, man.
I know, man. It's crazy how this worked out. We are both online waiting to meet. Who was it? Adrian Barbeau?
Yep. Connecticut Horror Fest.
Yeah, man. It feels like forever ago. It was only like two
Couple,
years ago.
maybe 2 years ago, maybe,
Yeah, man.
or a year ago.
It's crazy, man. I haven't been to a convention in a while, but it's funny. I'm one of those types of people that just starts talking to people. That was the first convention I ever went to alone, and I saw you in front of me, and we just started talking, and and here we are starting this new.
Yeah, I'm on and off with that though, but I was talkative that day.
Yeah,
Usually those things make me get fucking adrenalized, man. So I'm more social.
yeah,
But other than that, nowadays, I mean, if it's common subject, you know what I mean. But
yeah.
no, it's cool that we could get this going though, because we've
Yeah,
been talking about it for a while.
I know, man. Almost instantly after the Connecticut Horror Fest, we were talking about doing something together, and it's cool that we finally got together to do something. And you came up with a really cool name for it,
Well, originally it was going to be Slasher Effect.
right?
For those that are like, what are these guys talking about? We are going to be starting a new podcast. We're going to dig our brains into that for a little bit and see how it goes. But I'm from I'm Neal D, and I'm from Film Talk off of Swellcast. You might know me from, or you might not know me from. I had a little bit of followers on that and lasted for a little bit until they switched their format to economics and finance and got rid of all their entertainment radio stations. So I had to, you know, bite that one. But and you had a podcast. Go ahead. I'll let you explain it.
Yeah, it was a very short-lived podcast, the Horror and Heroes podcast, where we basically just spoke about horror movies and hero movies. There's like me and my cousin, we were just really big into going to horror movies and the superhero movies all the time. But it was fun while it lasted. But I've
It
done
was short lived, but I watched it.
yeah, and I
It was
appreciate
fun.
it. And I mean, dude, you know me, man. I love finding you on dude, I listen to like most of your podcasts just from talking to you. I'm like, all right, let me hear like the Tarantino stuff, the Tales from the Crypt, all the
Yeah, I mean, usually I'm on as a guest, featured guest at this point after years of being in the film review realm. But that's what I started with print reviews.
right.
And then I started doing podcasts that were short lived. And it's literally a full time job to do these, but we're going to give it a go. And I think we could do it and gain an audience, hopefully, with promotion and stuff. But I think me and you both have enough passion and knowledge to get something going in slasher films. The podcast that we're going to be starting is called the Retro Film Podcast, which is basically going to be what it is: retro slasher horror films and teen coming of age films. Because me and you grew up on both of those from the
Right.
80s. We're childs of the 80s, so that's what we grew up with. So that's what we know. So
Exactly.
that's what the podcast is about. And we're gonna just switch on and off, mix it up, do a slasher film, and then do a teen film that meant something to us. And basically, I'll pick one that meant something to me, and we'll work off each other. And then the next week you pick one, and we'll interact. So
Yeah, and
it's
it's
bad.
yeah, it's always fun because like the 80s really brought about a lot of both of those style of movies, all those coming of age 80s movies, the slasher movies. It was
Absolutely.
it's like especially like all the John Hughes films, like The Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, and then you had the slashers like the Friday the 13th movies, Nightmare on Elm Street, and
Yeah.
it's all stuff that we
Well,
watched.
the 80s, from 78 to 84 was the golden era of slasher films. Anything after that was pretty much regurgitated.
Right.
Not knocking it, but the solid golden era was for epitome textbook text slasher films is 878, which of course with John Carpenter's Halloween, to 84. And people always often ask me what my favorite slasher film is. And mine is My Bloody Valentine from 1981, without a doubt.
Right.
Always has been. The first time I saw that, I was just fascinated by slasher films. And I know what yours is, but I'm going to let you tell the audiences. It also is a holiday themed slasher film.
Absolutely. I mean, like it's really easy to just say that the Friday the 13th movies are my favorite like franchise, but Silent Night, Deadly Night, of course, because obviously Christmas is one of the it's the greatest time of year. And just to know, just watching this story about that unfold about this kid who went through a traumatizing experience as a child and then growing up and creating one himself. It's
But
always interesting to see any kind of holiday, like especially My Bloody Valentine. I love that movie too. It's just not.
Billy getting his parents killed in the beginning
Yeah,
with
exactly.
the car drive was traumatizing enough for me. And I was like,
Oh,
these people aren't fucking around, man. This is going to be hardcore
yeah,
with the
right from the beginning.
naughty and discipline. And, you know, it's a pretty dark film. I'm not surprised it was banned, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, man.
It is definitely a pinnacle slasher film, but it's pretty harsh.
Yeah, and
My Bloody Valentine's a little more mellower, a little more audience friendly, but they're both not mainstay mentioned slasher films, unfortunately,
and,
because they got overshadowed by the Nightmare on Elm Streets, the Friday the 13th,
yep.
the you know, just all those main big Hellraiser franchise type of horror films that everyone went out to see. So these kind of they've gained recognition over the years. I know that My Bloody Valentine had a remake in 2009, which was 3D, that was the catcher they added to it, and they kind of switched the story a little bit. It's nothing compared to the original, in my opinion, but
It was
I
enjoyable.
know that they're also doing, which you probably know more about. They're doing a remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night, which
Yes.
is going to be put out by Bloomhouse, which is going to be interesting to
I
see what they do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping so. I mean, after seeing, I can't think of the dude's name, but the kid who played Corey Cunningham in Halloween Ends, just know
Which was horrible.
right, and just seeing his face, knowing that he's the guy who's going to be playing. I don't even know if they're going to go with the name Billy Chapman this time, but playing Billy. I'm looking at this kid and I'm like, why him? I know he didn't single-handedly ruin uh Halloween Ends, but just the fact that Halloween Ends was such a bad movie and he was such a big part in why it sucked.
He's a hot young. I mean, I don't mean physically.
I know what you mean.
I mean, popular wise, he's a hot young actor on the move. Um, you know, he's got kind of an it factor look to him. It just was a bad movie, unfortunately,
It's terrible.
a bad character.
Yeah.
You know, which they wanted to keep Halloween going for as much as they can, which is the case in a lot of these things, um, to make money, cash cow. And it doesn't always work out. In this case, it did not work out. I don't know anybody who liked Halloween Ends. I thought 2018 was good,
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
but
how
I mean,
yeah.
Scream. I love Scream.
Mhm.
One of my favorite modern. Brought back the slasher genre. Got to give it respect. Wes Craven, absolutely love. But it's going down the same road, you know.
I,
And it's not bringing anything new to the table. It's always a twist of the boyfriend or the mother of the boyfriend or the stepfather. There's no real twist to it. It's just a regurgitated twist over and over again. They brought it to New York,
yeah,
tried to do that. Brought what's Jack Quaid on, who's a great, decent young actor,
I appreciate his acting skills. I think he's good.
and the girls, of course, Ortega, Jenna, but it's nothing original. The first one was original.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the thing. It's like nowadays, that's all it really is. It's like you said, it's regurgitating all old ideas. I mean, look, I enjoy the Scream movies. Of course, I wasn't a big a fan of part four and part five. I thought the New York one was a better follow up to part five. But like you said, it's like, the thing is, it's like when they bring out like newer slashers, it's like they're either going to blow up more than they should, or they're just going to die out. They're just not going to become anything, And I'm sure you have an idea of one of the ones I'm thinking of, which I like and you don't really, but it's okay.
Oh, uh, I mean, I could get into a rant on that
Yeah, I don't know how
if you
much
want,
time
but
we have.
just, I
Exactly,
mean, look, I get it, but it's not filmmaking
dude. And
in a sense.
right, and the thing is, it's like being a fan of the movies. I totally understand your point of view too, because like we said, we both grew up in the same era. I mean, you're a little older than me, no offense, but the thing is, it's like we grew up watching the same.
I'm old.
Yeah, but I
I
mean,
grew up in the mecca of that era. I
right, and
mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I remember seeing all those Friday the 13th.
mhm,
My mom let us watch them.
yeah,
You know, me and my brother, we would watch them in the neighborhood kids. That was a thing we did. Remember, this was, you know, 80 to 85. There was no internet, no social media. I think Atari had just come out. There was no video games. There was no. So this is what we did. We had we didn't even have microwave popcorn yet. We had to. My mom would make us the popcorn with the tin foil on the stove, and we would run over to the couch, and she'd be like, "Yo, you kids know this is make believe, right? This is just entertainment." Yes, mom. Yes, yes, yes. Got all excited, and we didn't end up growing up to be serial killers or anything. You know, we watched them and got entertained by them.
right,
And
and that's one of the reasons I think that we didn't grow up to be serial killers because that's all we had was that kind of entertainment. It wasn't like, you just sit on your computer and like play games with friends who are in another state or in another house down the block.
no,
You know,
right.
you all
You
got
don't get
those video games.
into that fantasy world.
Yeah, and it was like, we never really did much like traveling or anything when we were kids. So we were always going to the movies. Like anything that was coming out, especially when we were kids, if it was a kids movie, my mom would take us. The bad movies we would rent. Like my mother took me to my first Jason movie. At the time I was like I think like 9 or 10 when Jason Goes to Hell came out. And that was the first one that I saw in the theater. First one I saw on video was Part 7. That's why that one holds such an important place in my heart. But
The first Friday I saw in the theater was, which is a good one, Part 6, Jason Lives.
right.
Fantastic.
Oh, that was
I
definitely
remember my one of my best childhood friends, Poe Fusco, Kohath. His father was awesome, Pete Fusco, God rest his soul. Uh, Brought all of us to that at the Milford Fourplex. I'll never forget the memory. And he was just like he had like a childlike demeanor. He was just the best guy. And he was into punk rock. He was into horror movies, all that stuff.
that's awesome.
And he brought us all there. He wanted to see it too. And to see that in the theater with the James Bond opening with the slice, you know,
Yeah,
it was an event, man. We had a good time.
yeah,
Got the popcorn. We were scared, kind of, but not really. We'd seen these already on TV, but it was great to see it on 35 millimeter in the theater. I mean, it was just awesome, dude.
yeah.
And then I went on to see Jason Takes Manhattan in the theater also, which was kind of, it was a campy half, more than 80% of it was on the boat,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, and it's funny because like I remember when Part 8 came out in theater, my brother and my father took us to see. I forgot what movie he took us to see, but it was in the same theater that we were in, and we both like snuck in to like see if we could get a glimpse of what Part 8 was doing. And it was the scene on the dance floor when he picks up the girl and tosses her on the floor. But like that was just cool to us because like we just saw that scene, like, wow, that's crazy. Cause like, we already became fans of Jason because we had a friend across the street who was old enough to rent these movies for us, and she would bring them over, showed us, first Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Friday the 13th Part 7, I think even like The Shining at one point, and it was just such a great time to like just go across the street, rent a movie from Blockbuster or even one of those mom and pop.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's like you just take it out, bring it back, 350, 2 days, you got it, whatever it was.
Well, I mean, this podcast is going to be about the golden era, basically. There was something genuine and unique about those slasher films that the 90s and now just can't capture. And I don't know if I could explain it well, but I will try. The storylines were not original. We know this.
Mhm.
Uh, they were influenced by other stuff. I mean, the Friday the 13th, the original 1980, spawned the slasher craze in America, although that's arguable. Maybe we should get into this on the intro show here. Is a lot of people say Halloween was, and no disrespect to Halloween. I think Halloween uh, opened the door for slasher films because they were not popular here. They were popular in Italy with the Giallos.
Mhm.
Um, that was prominent in Italy. I mean, Giallo films. It was not here yet. You know, nobody had seen anything like Friday the 13th when that came out, that was mind blowing. I mean, there was nothing like it. Nothing at all. The POV, which is first point of view aspect of, spoiler here. If anybody hasn't seen Friday the 13th, they've been living under a fucking rock. But
Yeah.
it was the mother, the female killer. That was unheard of. It was unheard of.
Yeah, and
What Cunningham did with that, and that's what's really sparked the craze, because I will argue this: those films after were influenced more by Friday the 13th. The Burning, Madman,
oh yeah.
Just Before Dawn. All those films were influenced by Friday the 13th.
I mean, it's one of the reasons that I appreciate like
You
camp
know,
slashers so much. Like Sleepaway Camp is another one of my absolute favorites. I love it.
absolutely.
Part two and three were a little more silly, a little more campy, but they were still good movies to me. Like I still love them. But that camp slasher, like they like everybody took that and just like ran with it because it worked. It was a good formula. They knew how to keep it, and they put out good movies. You
It
know,
was it was maybe because it was 1980 and technology was not nothing at that point.
right?
But the kids seemed more um, relatable, more like your friends, what they looked like. Uh, they were what we were. They talked how we talked, and they were camp counselors, and everybody loved camp as a kid. And with the cinematography, the aura of the feel of those, and the filming, the way they filmed it, and the kills, the reveals, uh, were scary. They were just scary as shit when we were kids.
Oh,
With the
absolutely.
music added in too, like the '90s horror, they just could not capture that. It was magic.
Yeah,
They couldn't even come close.
yeah, and it's like you said, man. Like a lot of the music that they use, and a lot of it became so iconic, as iconic as the movies, especially with like Friday the 13th. With the kill ma, kill ma, and of course,
Yeah,
Halloween. Dun, 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 dun. It's like those are songs. Once you hear it, you know what it is, and there's no denying that movies like Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street made their mark on not just like horror movies, but just cinema in general. Made a huge impact. It
yeah.
became
I mean, they're indie films.
yeah,
Friday the 13th is an independent film for that time period. It was not financed. It was uh low budget. Not really. All right, let me correct myself. It was, what was it? New Line? Or no, New Line was Nightmare Numbers. Paramount.
Paramount.
Paramount had, but it was low budget.
Mhm.
It was very, very low budget. It's kind of like indie,
Yeah, I mean,
not self budgeted, but low budget.
right,
Really low budget.
right, and
Um, but for what he could do with that, it was amazing what he did with that. Same thing with Halloween. I mean, these are not high budget films. I mean, Carpenter had a little bit of a budget, but it came off like an indie film. I mean, the amazing thing about Halloween is that, look, minimal kills, right? Minimal blood,
mhm.
but the presence of Michael Myers in the music and the way he maneuvered himself in the cat and mouse chase between him and Donald Pleasance, Dr. Loomis, was scary as shit.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And same thing with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You don't see blood until that
Yeah,
final scene, and it's crazy
yeah.
that is one of the most like it just it messes with your head. Like it goes beyond like just like the slasher. It's like psychological, just seeing this big dude like and
Yeah, but
around there.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre was pretty much a grindhouse film. I
Yeah,
don't care what anybody says.
I get
It was a modernized grindhouse, if you want to say stylized grindhouse film. But the way that's filmed in the storyline, absolutely.
yeah, dude. I mean, it
I
just,
mean,
just yeah, especially like the feel of it, the look of it. It wasn't like just it wasn't when you watch those old movies, it's like it does something when you can see like the difference in the way something was recorded then and the way it's recorded now because everything is all high definition. Everybody wants everything in 4K. It's
good looking kids.
Yeah, it's like,
You know, that don't talk like we really, I mean, you know, it
right,
got to get good looking kids,
yeah,
hot girls, and you know what I mean? Maybe because it was the 90s, 2000s, who
yeah.
knows?
I mean, listen, a lot of those movies had like remakes. A lot of those movies had numerous sequels and prequels and all that stuff. But you know, when it boils down to just what the original was for each of those movies, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, you know,
Yeah, I mean, look, what's her name? Burns? She didn't look like Jessica Biel. I mean, come
right.
on. You know what I mean?
I know. I know.
She looked like your neighbor.
Yeah,
She
exactly.
looked like a young girl in college that was your neighbor.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Jessica Biel looks like a supermodel. I
yeah,
mean,
like
you know, that's the difference.
fun to look at, but
Nice to look at, but not relatable.
yeah, man. And it's,
You know,
yeah, dude,
but
it's like seeing all these movies and like seeing like how they're like basically like being revived in a sense because like I buy numerous t-shirts. I buy t-shirts all the time. I have, they're doing like Friday the 13th, Silent Night, Deadly Night, Halloween, and it's really cool to like still have that love and know that there are all these companies that, you know, want to take my money and just
it
create.
got popular.
It got popular,
Or it got popular.
but even
Finally.
and it's like one company even did like the Stuff t-shirts, the Blob remake t-shirts and stuff like that, and it's like, wow, that's cool. And it's like, look, dude, I kind of stopped buying a lot of the t-shirts at this moment, but like for a while, man, like, dude, I have piles and piles and piles. Like, I can go for like the next 3 years and not have to repeat a shirt.
I've got crates of t-shirts.
Yeah,
All original covers though, because you know I like
I know.
original
Yeah,
covers always.
yeah, exactly.
But so basically, what we're going to do in this podcast for anybody listening, Retro Film Podcast, is everybody knows the franchises: Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Candyman. Even had a couple. Those are all great, but this is not what this is for the deep dive slasher heads like me and you
Yeah,
that remember the offset ones that didn't get their due, that got outshined, that are still fantastic. There was a lot of bad ones. Believe me,
yeah.
there was
Oh
there
yeah,
was a lot of slasher films in that time period flushing through in the video stores. That was a video store time period. The horror section was huge. You know what I mean? But there were certain ones that were didn't always get a sequel either, that were offsets that were fantastic, like My Bloody Valentine
right.
never had a sequel. You know who's also it's this is not why it's my favorite slasher film, but Tarantino praises My Bloody Valentine. It's his
Okay.
favorite slasher film.
Well,
um
it's
there's just something different about that slasher film.
yeah,
That's why I like it. It doesn't have the tropes of a slasher film from that time at all. It's very unique. It's a unique slasher film.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but there's ones. Yes, they did bite off the popular ones for sure. But you had like Magnia, fun slasher to watch. Magnia and Mars.
Hmm.
You had Sleepaway Camp, which had one of the most bizarre endings in
Most.
film history. Not even horror film, just film history. All right, absolutely.
Mhm.
You had the incest country folk trend, like just before dawn, which a forest. That's another one, the forest,
Mhm.
which bit off of like Wrong Turn, bit off of those, got influenced by those. You know what I mean? Like there was a lot of different uh, themed ones through that whole area. You had the holiday ones,
Mhm.
like April Fool's Day, which is one of my favorite slasher films of all time, which we will talk about on this podcast. It's
Absolutely.
without a doubt one of my favorites. It's so stylized and unique.
I remember the
That's what I love, the unique ones.
yeah.
Um, but
Happy
there was
birthday
a
to
lot.
me, bro. Happy birthday to me. Dude, I know you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yep.
That is one of the most intellectual slasher films ever made. And people might not see this, and this is how we're going to break it down if you're interested. Why? Um, the initiation,
Mhm.
um, pranks, which is really influenced by Friday the 13th. Pranks, which I think the other name for it people might know is the dorm that dripped blood, but we know it as Pranks because that's what it was on cable. It came on. I remember the title, Monica, Pranks in Red with puff with blood dripping down. That's a brutal one. That's a real quintessential slasher film. If nobody's ever seen Pranks, we will talk about it on here. But
Okay.
that's a gem. That's a needle in the haystack gem that I always recommend. But I also love there's One Dark Night, which I absolutely love, about the mausoleum girl gets trapped in the mausoleum as an initiation.
Gotcha.
Just great writing for like a horror film. But I also I love Girls Night Out. Not many people know that one. That one is a golden hidden gem, man. I tell people about her all the time.
Right.
Um, we
Sorry
got
about
10 minutes.
that.
We
Yeah.
got 10 minutes.
Yeah.
All right,
I was trying to.
but
Right,
yeah.
but
So
yeah, I mean, it's like when we talk about like those kind of movies, where
we're gonna get into those deep cuts,
to
those
those,
deep dives.
and it's like how it compares to like the more like famous ones that like people don't really, people take a lot of these movies for granted.
Everybody knows those.
Yeah, exactly. Like
You know,
Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis, one of the better final girls. And you
you
see,
know what? I'm not. Be honest with you. I love the movies, but I love the horror movies she's been in. But I'm not a big fan of hers. I'm more Amy Steele.
no, dude,
Amy Steele's my girl.
dude, like Jamie Lee
You know.
Curtis now, she's the new face of the face of horror.
Yeah,
She's
I sure
like
do.
she's doing the ads for those now. I mean, there's Freakier Friday, and now
Well, they had to do that, right?
they had to do Jamie Lee.
Ask me about my experience in Face of Horror.
Dude, I want to know about your experience with Face of Horror because I have my own. Might not be as bad as yours, but like I just know how it works. But
Well, I came in fifth place in the first one,
yeah, see, I came in.
which I cannot believe. But I never won anything. But what happened was I'd gotten a message because I guess what they did is they seeked out all people in the horror community or express themselves in the horror community on social media, which is obvious.
Mhm.
Good way to do it. So I got reached out like everybody else. And I was like, oh, what is this? So I said, you know what? Let me put my money in the game and give it a try. And didn't think I was gonna make it far at all. So I posted a picture up of my Buddy Valentine DVD cover. If I had like a newsboy cap on and I was holding the cover, and
Right.
I put a bunch of pictures and stuff. I had my group. There was like in groups of 100, and they said, well, if you make it to the next round, you'll get an email. You'll get a message and go around. So I think it was like 100, and then you get to 50.
Right.
So I got them to the 50 mark. I was like, all right. I was promoting myself a little bit. My mom bought a couple of votes, but I didn't really ask people to buy votes.
Right.
People
Yeah.
weren't buying votes for me. I was promoting myself, basically, trying to win it, promoting. And I was getting votes. And then I ended up going to the second round, which was like 30 or something, top 30. And then like I was like, wow, I'm lasting. I'm surprisingly. So kept with it, and then top 20 in their group, got the message. Then I got top 10, and then I got an email where it like dropped down to like top 8 or something, and then it said if you get into the top 5, you made it to the semifinals. I was like, I'm never gonna make it to the top fucking 5. No way. Sure enough, I wait a couple of weeks and I get them. You congratulations, you made it to the top 5. You're in 5th place semifinal.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, oh fuck, dude, what? So I was like, this has got to be a joke. But
Right.
I have the picture still.
Mhm.
So I was like, I might have a shot. I don't know. And then at that point, I was kind of just tired of it. I didn't really promote myself after that. I don't know if it was self sabotage or whatever, but I was just like, we'll let the cards slide where they may. Then it was like, yeah, you didn't make it any further, but you made it to the semifinals, top 5 out of 100. So, good job, blah, 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 blah. But the girl that made, and then it's like, if you made it to under top 5, you made it to the finals, like the
Right.
whole thing. Didn't make it that far, but I was surprised I made it down to 5th. She ended up winning. It was the influencer girl, and
Oh,
I was like,
so like she already had like she was already like a
yeah, she was an influencer,
okay.
and she was number one the whole time. She was an influencer. I don't know if she bought votes. I'm not knocking her. People watches. I'm not, but just be aware those things. It's to promote the magazine, and unless you have $13,000 to buy your win or buy the votes, because you could, it's a contest where you could buy votes.
Yeah.
Go figure. I was at a contest, or you could just promote yourself to death, and but or if you're that's only going to get you so far. But if you're a big influencer, that's what they want.
Yeah, and that's
So you take it as that.
yeah.
But
I
sorry, go ahead.
no, I mean I totally get it because like I tried it out like 1 year and I think I made like maybe sixth place like in the first round and like I made it to the second round, but that's where it ended. And I'm like, I'm promoting it too. I'm not telling people like don't spend any of your money on it. And my buddy says, hey, man, I spent this much money on your. I was like, dude, don't do that. It's like if I lose, you just wasted money. You know what I mean? It's like, look,
Yeah,
do your free vote every day. Just that's it.
yeah.
I don't
It
make
was by rounds. I mean, you had to remain in the fifth round to keep going.
yeah.
Fifth place until the end, and
Yeah. And
it was too hard.
it was to like meet Kane Hodder and have dinner with him. But it's like, I've met him at horror conventions numerous times. They made it seem like it was going to be something bigger, like you're going to be in a movie now. But what are you going to do? Like just be a walk on? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how that
You
works.
got a magazine spread and $13,000.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
about it, basically. You're not even getting any fame or, But I mean, like, what was I going to say? If you're an influencer, you have but now I think they're switching up where they're adding women because a lot of people have been complaining about that. The
Mhm.
pretty girl is going to win because Kane Hodder wants to sum it up with a pretty girl, not some dude that's a fanboy winning it.
That's fair.
So now they added Jamie Lee Curtis to get like a male might have a shot, or Matthew Lillard in thrown in the mix too. And it's not real.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
not a real contest.
like if you're, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd be like rushed to. I don't know if I would rush to join just to meet Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm just like, whatever, man.
I never try. I never joined. Did it again. No,
Yeah,
after that first one.
yeah,
You know
because
what I mean?
it,
But
you
I
know,
mean, it's a thing now with a lot of stuff.
yeah, I mean, dude,
But
I was promoting it on Facebook, on Instagram. I don't know if you're on that Slasher app. That Slasher app, it's basically,
yeah,
yeah, the horror app for like that's like Facebook, but you know, you're asking like basically like strangers like on the Slasher app because like everybody friend requests you on that, which is cool. You know what I mean? But um, you're basically asking strangers to vote for you, but they have their own friends too that they're gonna vote for. But
yeah. But I mean, I had people. I had. I don't know who I was. People were obviously voting for me because I was making it past the rounds. I was making all the rounds. So I mean, if you don't make it to the next round, you get knocked out. So I made it all the way to the end,
I got you,
and
man.
then I didn't get past fifth.
Right.
Um, so I made it through all the like fucking 10 rounds or whatever that you go through. But I like my mom bought a few votes, but I don't. People were voting for me. Maybe friends that were involved with it were voting for me,
I mean, hey,
which was cool,
yeah, it's cool.
and strangers too.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, that's just like one thing that just yeah, just kind of now that I'm thinking about it, just kind of like ugh, because like you get so close and then it's just like you're because you
Yeah, but I knew I wasn't. I mean, I'm surprised I made it that. It didn't really matter to me. It was fun. It was fun to see. Like I'm like, oh shit, I made it like top 20,
right.
top 15, blah 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 blah, and didn't really didn't really hustle too much. I mean, to be honest, like
Yeah, me neither.
I posted up, do the free vote for me, please, to the next round, and people were.
Yeah, and
So
people keep sending me like, "Hey, dude, have you seen?" It's like, yeah, I tried. I think I even tried it the year after, but I don't know. So yeah, I mean, dude, like I'm excited for this new podcast. We got a little time left, but just
well, we could talk about. We're also going to do teen films too, which is a big
yeah,
part of our.
exactly, man.
You
And
know, there was a lot of those, man, a lot of good ones.
And
Um,
it's gonna be fun, man. I
you know, I know that me and you both love Last American Virgin,
oh my god, hell yeah, dude.
which is such a unique teen film.
It's one of the most unique teen films.
Unique teen film, absolutely. There's no movie like that. And when we get to that episode, I'll explain why. It is just
Dark.
the way the way it transitions is just insane. Um, but yeah, that's a classic, man. That's for deep '80s heads that you know
Yep.
because it wasn't well, it was pre John Hughes. So
Right.
like the slasher boom we were talking about with the franchises, everyone knows John Hughes films. Everybody.
Absolutely.
But there was a lot of teen films that were out in that same period that were just as funny, not as teen angsty, and they were different than Hughes films. Now I love Hughes. I
Absolutely.
love all his films.
Yep.
But you also had The Wildlife, Private Resort, Better Off Dead,
One of my favorites.
Fast Times, which is a OG of teen films. I'm talking just out of John Hughes' world. Last American Virgin, The Porkies, Rain,
Yep.
which was more raunchy teen film, but still teen. They were high school kids in the 50s or whatever, um, in Florida. But the Porkies were fun.
Yeah.
Uh, but this was all pre John. These were early '80s, pre Hughes films. And they were great. Better Off Dead, really dark but funny.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
One Crazy Summer, the Cusack name,
Yeah.
the Sure Thing, um, all of those were fun films. And then you had the Corys, the two Corys movement.
Oh my god.
License to Drive, Lost Boys, even was a teen film.
Yep.
Uh, you know, Dream a Little Dream, which is one of my favorite films of all time. We're going to do an episode on that,
Oh, absolutely.
absolutely.
Definitely.
Which is a unique teen film. But you had those unique ones like Dream a Little Dream and Last American Virgin, which were just so unique, man,
Yeah, I feel
for
like
so many reasons.
yeah, and those movies just kind of like flew under the radar because like Last American Virgin, I didn't see until like years later. You know what I mean?
I
That's
have it on DVD. I had to
oh,
search
dude,
for it.
my buddy played it for me and instantly ordered it on Amazon. I have two different copies of it. Like they made like an updated version of it. Dude, like that movie just kind of like really messed me up. Like after that ending, it was kind of like it had a similar storyline to Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but it was so much darker. It really
Yeah, yeah.
dug a knife into your heart and twisted it with that ending. But again, that's
Different than Hughes,
yeah,
for
oh,
sure.
absolutely, man.
I mean, they should show that film to every guy in high school. I think Last American Virgin, so
Yeah.
he gets the real deal of like how
Oh,
girls can be cruel, man.
yeah.
You
Absolutely.
know, that was a kick in the nuts. That
Oh,
ending.
God, that's
We
so
won't spoil it, but
yeah, we're not gonna
great
spoil
soundtrack
it.
too. Soundtrack
Yeah,
is what made that film.
absolutely.
New wave music, and which Hughes also did as well. Perfect mix of picks of songs for the movie, absolutely. But yeah, Fast Times. Last American Virgin is fun. It's always Fast Times.
Yeah.
They're classics now. But I also love Say Anything.
Yeah,
You
right.
know,
I mean, another iconic scene with holding up the
great story,
yeah, absolutely, man.
great character, Lloyd Dobler.
Yeah.
Great teen, you know, character.
Yeah, because
Really, really relatable.
exactly, because it's like even as a kid watching some of those movies, I was closer to being a teenager and like seeing teenagers going through like stuff that you normally would see like adults going through, like with love and all that stuff. It's like, man, it starts that it starts that early, huh? You know, the pain, the love, all that stuff. And
Yeah,
all those movies just kind of gave you all of it, everything.
a lot of them had that message for sure. I mean, but the Hughes ones were, they were. We could get into it, man, but like some of them, I've done some real research on teen films for a while and did some theses on them. Some of them, which you don't realize, promoted conformity. Perfect example is a film called Can't Buy Me Love with
Oh,
Jack Dempsey.
absolutely.
Promoted
Dempsey.
conformity,
Yeah.
100%. And even The Breakfast Club, you can argue, promoted conformity
Okay.
in its essence. It was trickeried over by the fact that everybody is one of these characters and they all relate together.
Mm-hmm.
But if you dive into it, we'll talk about this in the episode. There are some points where it people lose who they really it kind of promotes conformity, which I mean, it's not a bad thing. I mean,
Well, I mean, I
everybody wants to be liked.
yeah, I mean, I understand like, the conformity like in school because you have rules to follow so you don't get kicked out, so you do stay on a certain path. It's like when you get out of there, it's like, yeah, you are your own person. You should be your own person, and I totally get that.
Yeah,
And
it's peer pressure.
yeah,
Hughes had the teen angst, the unpopular kid,
yep.
trying to be, trying to just make his mark.
Mhm.
With we saw with Andy and Pretty in Pink, and but he also made the uncool kid cool, like Farmer Ted.
Right.
The king of the dweebs.
Yeah.
He was cool, man.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, and dude, even like Anthony Michael Hall was just kind of typecast that early on as like the nerd kid, in 16 Candles,
yeah,
and
Farmer
also
Ted.
yeah.
But he owned it. He owned it.
Oh, absolutely.
He had confidence
Oh,
in his geekiness.
yeah.
You know what I mean? He was a geek.
Hmm.
He wasn't a nerd.
Yeah,
In
that
Breakfast Club, he was a nerd. There's a
yeah.
big difference.
Yeah, true.
In 16 Candles, he was a geek.
Right. But either way,
So,
in both of those, he was unpopular. That
yeah.
was that was the point. That's why it like threw me for a loop when he showed up in Edward Scissorhands as like the bully.
Yeah,
I'm
but there's
like,
a
oh my
movie
god,
before that,
which one?
Johnny Be Good,
Oh yeah, yeah.
which I love.
Chris.
Which he was the alpha male. He was
Yeah,
the football star.
yeah, and it was weird seeing him like this skinny
Yeah,
kid became like
hulked up.
football player size. I'm like that's Russell Griswold. Who? What the hell's going on?
Yeah,
You know,
I met him. He's a really nice guy.
I
Anthony Michael Hall.
yeah, he was at a couple of horror conventions that I was at, and I didn't go up to his table because it was like too long. And it's like, all right, usually when I go to a convention, it's like if there's a shorter line for somebody, I'll go to them first. It's like when I first met Felissa Rose, like I wanted to meet Judith Hogue. She was April O'Neil in the Ninja Turtles movie, the first one. And dude, that movie's like one of those movies for me. So, but she was taking her time with a fan, as as a lot of them do. I was like, you know what, Felissa Rose's table is, dude, awesome interaction with Felissa Rose. But then when I went back to meet Judith Hogue, she had already gone. I was like, ah, man, I missed out on April O'Neil. But
Well, I could tell you this without a doubt. Judd Nelson is one of the most realist dudes in Hollywood and entertainment industry. Super down to earth, genuine guy. I had literally a 10-minute conversation with him, and we weren't even talking about John Hughes films.
right.
His film knowledge is insane.
Oh, I'm sure, man.
And he just has a charisma the way he talks, and he's just such a dynamic guy. And I wanted to like go out and have a drink with him. Just I could talk to that guy. He shook my hand firmly, looked me right in the eye, said my name. He said it was awesome talking to you,
Definitely,
dude.
definitely
And I
seems
said,
like a man's man, and that just that's definitely another movie we got to talk about. Relentless. I mean, that's
yeah.
you know what
And that's what we talked about. And that's one of his favorite films. And he really had to stretch for that role, and he nailed it. I told him,
I mean?
and he was a scary dude in that movie.
Dude, he was
Um,
scary in the Breakfast Club.
so,
So
yeah, I mean, and he nailed it. And not many people know about that movie, but it's fantastic.
oh, dude, like
Um,
yeah,
Relentless.
yeah. When I was
I mean, and we were talking about that film and how he did the stunts and everything. He did the stunts himself.
oh, that's awesome.
And, he was really into it. And you could tell he was passionately talking to me about it. I didn't even mention the Breakfast Club. He hears that shit all the time.
Of course. That's probably why.
John Bender. I mean,
Yeah, that's probably why he wasn't in that whole Brat Pack documentary. I mean, like he was like, I think he was the only one who didn't show up, and it was like I don't know if you watched it. That Andrew McCarthy put it together.
yeah,
It was a whole
I did.
documentary on the Brat Pack. It was a good documentary. Like it was cool seeing like Emilio Estevez,
Yeah,
Demi Moore and all that. And it's like throughout the whole thing, he's trying to get in contact with Judd Nelson.
Judd.
And, at the end, it's like, Judd? And then it's like, it just ended because, like, I
You
feel
know what? I still think he should have participated in it
oh, so do
because, you know, you got to own. He's not embarrassed by it.
I. Right. I don't think,
It's just that he's an actor. He's a great actor,
right.
and most people know him from Breakfast Club, unfortunately,
Yeah.
which is a great film. But you had the film where he played the which I have on DVD. I can't remember the name of it now, where he played the prep school guy, the rebel, which he was great in.
Okay.
Can't remember the name of it right now. But he also played that movie where he was the lawyer. And I'm sorry, I can't remember these movies' names right now. But I think it's called From the Hip or something like that, where he played a lawyer.
All right.
I mean, his acting chops are
Oh, yeah, definitely.
are up there.
I mean, I remember, I think it was like the early 2000s. He did that movie with Usher and Rosario Dawson where he played like a school teacher and he had to like, it was just like
Yeah,
a bad school. He had to take the kids out.
a lot of horror stuff he's done. I mean, New Jack City, he was great in that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
As a crazy cop, like you know,
Yeah,
awesome character.
because you know what it is too. He's got that look, he's got that stare that like he can do the killer.
Yeah,
He can be the
he's
killer.
one of my favorite actors.
Yeah,
I told him that.
he's
He's
definitely
always been. I always respected him.
yeah.
I knew he was a real dude before I even met him, and I got a picture with him. It's one of my golden. It's a really good pic too. But yeah, he's just a unique dude, man, a unique dude,
Yeah.
and he's so liked.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those guys when you see him pop up in a movie, you're like, "Oh, awesome." It's like you
Yeah,
you, you kind of have
he's so liked.
yeah.
Um, and I mean the same thing with. I mean, I've met all of them. Different, more so than others, and some were just like real brief encounters, and some were like conversational. And like I've had a conversation with Andrew McCarthy, met him 2 times, um, out of conventions, and I talked with him with one of my favorite films is what you could consider maybe a teen film, but a really dark. Well, no, they were kind of in their early 20s in that film, and it's based off of a book. I'm a huge Bret Easton Ellis fan, but Less Than Zero I have always loved.
Okay.
So I got to talk to Andrew McCarthy about that film, and he signed my poster, which is just it's a defining moment. I told him how much I love that movie, and we just talked about. I said, you know what, Andrew? I said it's such a different. Like the book is so different than the film, and he just lit up like a fucking firefly when I said that. He's like, "Oh yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That's what it was meant to be. It was meant to be different."
Oh,
And
that's
I'm like, "Absolutely."
yeah.
But the film did justice. I mean, it's a great film. John Abnett did a great job on that film. Um, but you have these moments, and like Ali Sheedy, I got to meet twice. Um,
She seems like she would be cool in person.
she's really cool,
Yeah.
really down to earth woman, talented as all hell.
Yeah, I always like
Huge,
seeing her around
huge talent.
yeah.
Molly Ringwald, not such a great experience, but you can't get them all. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah,
It
of
was
course.
kind of a letdown,
Yeah.
but I really wasn't expecting a really, you know,
In depth.
intense encounter with her, to be honest with you.
Well,
Uh,
I feel like whenever you go to these conventions or even when you meet anybody in general, you can't have like high expectations because like it's like we talk about this all the time and it's like these people do this as part of their living. So they're at conventions all the time and it's like
yeah,
you
it's a
want to show
business.
yeah, you want to show the fans the best of you that you can, but everybody has bad days too, man. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get insufferable fans who like just automatically think that you're their best friend just because you connected with
Oh yeah,
them. You know what I mean?
I know some people like that
Oh
personally. I
yeah.
won't mention names, but
Of course, of course.
yeah, you got to separate. It's these people are famous, but they're people in. I'm not to toot my own horn, but I've been doing this kind of stuff for over 25 years, and I've worked in organizations that there's famous people around
Mhm.
my whole life,
Right,
and I've encountered a lot of famous people throughout my life,
right.
a lot of them,
Yeah,
and some of them, and I've interviewed some of them too. Um, some of them give you your money's worth. Some of them get it, and some of them don't. But that's okay. Doesn't mean they're bad people. And sometimes your expectations get thrown.
Right.
but that's okay. You get over it. You know, these people have their real life friends, and then they're fans, and you're a fan
Exactly.
first and foremost.
Yep.
You admire their work. You're a fan. They have hundreds of fans. They do this, and like I said, some of them give you your money's worth, which is great. A lot of them do actually,
Yeah.
and you take it. You take it for what you can get.
Mhm.
You know, and it's a thrill to meet them.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like when you go to meet them, you you see these people as like you hold them in a certain position. It's like not so much on a pedestal, but it's like you enjoy things that they do, and just being able to get to meet them and see them as those real people, as human beings, as opposed to just the characters they play in these movies that we love so much, you know. And it's like you said, you can have a great conversation with them, you can have a great experience, but it's not always going to
Yeah.
happen that way.
You know what? It's fandom. Fandom is you're a fan because they made you feel a certain way. Their talent moved you and entertained you, and that's why you sometimes maybe get really into them.
Hmm.
And it's human nature. We do regular jobs. We go home.
Hmm.
It's admirable, but we're not touching anybody. We're not like
Right.
using our. You know what I mean? It's a different realm. It's a different spectrum. That's what celebrity and fandom is. Um, and some of them get it. But that's what brings you the joy. Like I could say I fanboyed out the first time. Anybody knows me knows I'm a huge Corey Feldman
Right.
fanatic since I was a kid.
Oh yeah,
I'm not embarrassed to admit it. I'm a male. I'm a straight male, but I love the Coreys because their films brought me
yeah.
so much joy as a kid. I had their posters, the movie posters, not
I know
not the
what you're
bop, not the
saying.
teen throb bop posters. They're
Right,
movie
not the
posters.
ones my sisters had up.
Right. No,
I know what
they're
you're talking
movie
about.
posters.
I know what you're
I
saying.
love them. I love License to Drive. That movie just changed my. That movie just still brings me joy to this much day. It's one of my all time favorite films. And I got Corey to sign my poster. But I met Corey twice, both great encounters, and I had 10 to 15 minute conversations with him. Eccentric, yes, but you gotta kind of expect that
Right.
the life he's lived.
Hmm.
Quirky, offbeat, yeah, but that's what makes him so unique and great. But genuine, loves his film, fans, really nice, not rude in any way. And I talked to him, and we kind of, we instant messaged each other, and it was kind of a real connection. I'm not saying I'm his best friend,
Right.
but he has invited me to stuff
That's cool. That's
that
really
I couldn't go to. He invited me to his birthday bash a few years ago, but it was in California. But he did send me an invite.
that's cool.
I get this a lot. I mean, Chris Gore from Film Threat, who's an icon in the film industry.
Oh, dude, I love
I
listening.
mean, he invited me to his award but these are in LA. But he invited me
Yeah.
an invitation, and occasionally I do get those.
Hmm.
It's the perks of hustling and being in this industry for a
Oh
long
yeah,
time, man. I
absolutely.
mean, we're not, like again, shout out to Mike Pedalino from MTV. He's another one who I worked with occasionally. Sent me an invite to the Dexter Resurrection premiere screening in New York City, which I had a fucking absolute ball with. But he didn't have to do that.
Right. No, of
I
course.
mean, here's a guy who was head of casting at MTV. Very, very important, very powerful guy in the entertainment industry that is humble and will do that for people that he likes. But they're not all like that. There's
Yeah.
you know, very it's a rare thing. And it's a plastic business, you know what I mean? But you got to understand that. If you don't understand that, you're gonna get let down. But I'm not saying Corey Feldman's my best friend. He remembers me kind of. We have instant message. I did wish him a happy birthday, and he did send me back a thank you
That's cool.
from his personal account. He so Chris Gore from Film Threat sent me things. I have numerous Film Threat things.
That's awesome, dude.
Um
I like Chris Gore.
post
Yeah.
he's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
I want to meet him. He's one of my idols. I mean,
Yeah.
I have Film Threat magazine still.
Oh, dude.
You
Like,
know what I mean? Like
yeah.
in I just got to know him from just being a fan of Film Threat and wearing the Film Threat hat all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he calls me the Film Threat hat guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Oh,
funny.
that's better than being called the blow ass guy from Kane and Hodder.
Yeah,
That's
right.
another
You told
story.
me that story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
But it's all an infection. It's all
Yeah.
an affection. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? When you could get that connection one of them is great
Yeah.
because you know that they genuinely found you interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is amazing.
Yeah, and dude, like, you talk about Chris Gore, it's like I listen to his podcast sometimes. I love when he's on like
He's a pioneer.
yeah, when he's on like Nerdrotic, it's like when he starts ripping into something, he rips into it, and I love it. I love the way he just
And he's humble.
yeah.
The
He
guy's well respected. Every celebrity, I mean, all the indie film people. I mean, he's a pioneer.
yeah. Every
You
time
know,
yeah.
and I hope to meet him one day. I'd be more excited about meeting him, taking pictures with him, than some of these celebrities
Oh yeah.
because that guy did something amazing.
Mhm.
And like, you want to talk about somebody that did something. Like these people, yeah, they act. They're in B movie. They're in their scenes in horror movies, and but this guy like really that was at the forefront.
Mhm.
When it wasn't popular independent film. Um, so it's just amazing. And it's a website now today. It's still going. I have shirts, I have posters of Film Threat, I have old magazines when they were a publication. I mean, now there's so many, but he was the first in 1985. That was a fanzine. That was unheard of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Um, so it's guys like that, they just held the torch. Um, but it it's a business.
Yeah.
This convention stuff is a business.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun for us,
You
but
know,
you know,
you're paying for their time.
exactly. It's fun for us, and I'm sure to an extent it's fun for them, but like after a while, I'm sure it weighs on them, man, because like they got to be there 3 days in a row in one
Yeah,
spot, then they got to travel
meeting
4 hours,
people, being happy, pretending to be happy, having things on their mind. You
going
got to
to the movie.
smile at the person. You got to not come off as a dick. I mean, I couldn't imagine being famous. I mean, once in a while, I had somebody come up to me and say they voted for me on the Face of Horror shit, which is weird. I had people come up to me um, when I was doing the radio stuff with Amy Gray for the video segment episodes locally.
Mhm.
Ask me about Amy, ask me stuff. And you forget, it's weird in that aspect. I can imagine these people,
Yeah, I
like, I mean, you don't think that people see your stuff, but they do. It's a testament to people do see your stuff. You'd be surprised,
mhm.
but you don't think so when you're doing it. But you shouldn't do it for that. You
Oh,
know what I
absolutely.
mean? Because then you're going to get let down.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
I've never done anything for that. I don't care. I mean, but I've had people listen to my film show that have messaged me and say they miss it or that they love my reviews, and that's fun enough.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
more than enough. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah,
I just love films as you do.
exactly.
So I mean, this is awesome for us. It's what keeps us alive, man. You know what I mean? As so many other people.
Yeah, we're absolutely lucky. We are very lucky to have grown up during the time of this golden era of like the
Dude, I'm a featured guest spot on a podcast that's endorsed by Quentin Tarantino. Now
yeah,
imagine that.
I know, dude.
He's listened
That's wild.
to
I
my voice, my episodes. He knows about, like that. I never thought that would happen. I'm a Tarantino fan. I mean, like, I have such fun on that, man. Shout out to Scott, who runs that podcast. He does an amazing job. Amazing job. I don't know how he does it,
oh, absolutely, man.
but it's to the point where Tarantino took notice of it and endorses it
That's great.
and is a fan of the podcast.
That
And it's just got a really cool name, the Church of Tarantino. I
yeah.
told Scott Tarantino's gonna love that name,
Oh, yeah.
and he did. It fits. But yeah, I mean, I could talk about movies 24 hours a day.
Because, dude, like I said, man, we grew up during that time. We grew up when, like, going to the
Video store culture.
yeah, but it was like the video store and the theater. It's like going to the movie theater
Yeah,
isn't what it used to be. It's like I see more people like I go to the Alamo Draft House and I see more people show up for the older movies than they do for the newer movies. Like they'll play like a Friday the 13th movie on
yeah,
35 millimeter
absolutely.
or part 3 in 3D. And you'll see the whole theater is full for that one night, for that one showing of that one movie. I mean, I went one night to see the final chapter. Everything was sold out, like almost sold
Oh
out, like
yeah, oh yeah,
almost instantly. Dude, I had to sit in the front to watch it. And dude,
yeah.
the second that Silent Night, Deadly Night went up for sale, I, I'm like, oh my god, there it is finally. And I bought the 2 tickets for me and my cousin. Dude, I love that movie so much. I went to the theater in a Santa jacket. I had the Santa hat. I had my axe. I'm like, I don't care how ridiculous I look. Just going to a movie
That's
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 40,
hilarious.
40 years old at this point. I don't care. And like they're like, you're here for Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Dude, you're having fun.
Absolutely, man.
That's what
Absolutely.
it's all about. Fun,
Yeah.
man.
Because it's like if
And podcasts have blown up.
yeah.
They're the new thing. They're the new radio. I mean, podcasts is where it's at.
And that's the thing too. It just goes to show you that like all these retro films are what people are more interested in. It's like you can have a movie on VHS, on DVD, on Blu-ray, on 4K, on digital, but if they're playing it at the theater, you'd rather go to the theater to
It's a
watch.
nostalgia thing.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
it's an anniversary thing. It's a nostalgia thing. You know exactly how you felt, where you were when you saw these films originally, what they meant to you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so that says something about these films.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like nowadays you go to see like a new movie and it's like people are on their phones, people are
Ah,
talking, and they're not even whispering anymore. Like they don't even have the decency to whisper during these movies anymore. So it's like these people who go to these movies nowadays, like they don't even whisper anymore if they want to talk. They have their phones on, they're playing games on their phone. It's like, why are you even here? Why are you even here? They'll
yeah.
phone calls and all that stuff. It's like, man, it's like even as a kid, once my mom said, all right, the movie's starting, be quiet. That was it. Like, I understand kids making noise during the movie, even though when I was a kid, you get smacked if you made a sound. But if you go to a kids movie with other kids, yeah, expect noise. But when you go into like a horror movie, it's like you expect gasps, you expect screams, maybe just not full on
Well,
comedy.
when we went, me and the neighborhood kid, my friends and my brother and everything, we were into the movie. We were into movies, so we listened. We watched the movie. We were enthralled by the movie.
Yeah.
We didn't talk to each other. We waited till afterwards, and then we would talk about the movie afterwards
Yeah, of
with
course.
each other.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
Yeah. And
So we would had a full attention.
yeah, and that's the
You
thing.
know,
It's so hard to hold. It's so hard to keep my attention like during a movie while people are talking now, and it's so hard to be like so enthralled with what's going on to be able to drown everything out because movies in general just haven't been as good. It's like there are good movies, they're just not you know, like movies that come out now, like they're not going to be as classic or as memorable as movies that we're going to be.
nah, you got to dig. You got to dig. But I mean, I do the digging, and I have found some really good ones, which I recommended to you.
Mhm.
Which what is it?
Companion.
Deer Camp 86.
Oh dear, yeah, but that was like
Love that movie.
yeah, absolutely, dude. Great movie, Companion. I know Companion was in the theater, but like,
Companion,
I
yeah, I saw
yeah,
in the theater.
dude,
Fantastic.
yeah.
I even liked Mom. Mom was great with
Oh,
Octavia
I like Mom.
Spencer.
I was because I love
I
Octavia
saw
Spencer.
that in the
So
theater.
so did I. I
I
saw
mean
it.
that's old now, but you know what I mean. It's
Yeah,
modern to what we're talking about.
yeah, but
Yeah, Bloomhouse does a lot of good stuff.
yeah,
He's another one that's has sent me invites
yeah.
to
I
stuff.
mean, and that's the thing, though. It's like with certain studios like Blumhouse, like it's hit or
A24.
miss. It's like you got a lot of good hits with Blumhouse. It's like okay, Exorcist Believer. Yeah, I think that should go on the back burner. Like, don't even add to it. Just like,
Haven't even seen it.
oh, let's just all try to forget that movie. Halloween ends. Let's try to forget that movie.
You knew that was coming. That was like pulling at last straws.
Yeah,
They should have stopped it at like 2018. To be honest with you,
yeah. Because 2018 was great. I thought Kills was good too, but not necessarily needed.
it was all right.
Well, because the
Yeah.
thing is, it's like it's supposed to take place right after the last movie. Didn't get released till like what was it, 2022?
I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis is a Mark Smith at this point, and
Yeah,
a recluse, and
yeah. But then they tried to
you
take
know,
yeah, and then they took that same story, and it turns out that Sally from Texas Chainsaw was doing the same thing all these years.
yeah, I saw that too
You
on
know?
the bus.
Yeah,
But then they add that they make fun of. What I love about those movies is they poke fun at the Gen Y, and the whole narcissism. Look at me, phone
yeah,
type shit,
absolutely. Yeah.
which is great that they poke fun at that.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because like this story comes from an era before all of that. It comes from it's like, look, you watch a movie from the 80s, and if a phone is dead, the phone's dead. Nowadays it's like
you had
everybody's got to like
you
I
had landline. If you weren't home, you couldn't get a hold of the person.
exactly, but if you're in trouble, if some killer's running after you, you can't just, you have to find a payphone or you got to run into somebody's house. You don't have a cell phone in your pocket. You know, that's another reason that I love these movies so much, because the horror was really there because you didn't always have access to help. Nowadays, everybody's got a cell phone, and it's like, even if they do a movie that was like based in the 80s, everybody's got a walkie-talkie now. Especially when there's kids involved, everybody's got a walkie-talkie. I didn't have a walkie-talkie that went past the outside of my house. These kids all have walkie-talkies that they can talk to from the other side of town. And I'm like, come on. It's like, make it more realistic and show us how it really was in the 80s. Nobody had that. Nobody
Right.
was so easily able to contact their friends for help. That's what I love about this era of movies, because it just showed you how different it was back then and how hard it was to find any kind of help.
Well, I mean, they were more real.
Yeah.
They were got to suspend disbelief too.
Yeah.
Some of them were outrageous, but they were based off of human killers, serial killers,
Oh,
which
yeah.
can happen. I
Yeah.
mean, besides they were invincible with a hockey man, all that stuff is added
Yeah.
to it. But like you get something like Slumber Party Massacre, that could really happen. That
Yeah.
guy was a regular guy. He was just a creepy, deranged serial killer dude with a drill. Killing girls
Yep.
that part of the slumber party. I mean, that stuff really fucking happens.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And that's one of those movies that just kind of throws you for a loop, because it's like there's no reason for it. They never tell you what the reason is.
yeah, just a
And I'm
serial killer.
cool with that. You know what I mean? It's like, sometimes they try to like give you more into like in depth of the killer after the fact, or try to bring him back from the dead with Slumber Party Massacre. They didn't do that. The sequel was a different killer altogether. Wild
Right.
flick. I don't want to get into what I think of
Dude,
that one, but
Final Exam, no motive whatsoever.
right. Exactly.
That's a classic 80s slasher, Final Exam.
Right.
The killer was just a random dude that went on a campus university and just started killing people.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was no motive. You didn't know who the killer was, no backstory, just random, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it worked. There was no, surprise twist ending or anything like, reason why, jilted lover or a jealous boyfriend, like pranks and stuff. It just, so, and it worked for it.
Right.
But then you get, My Bloody Valentine had a fantastic script all around, like the twist, the plot at the end and
Yeah.
everything else. It just was superior.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Yeah, and
but
it's gonna be a lot of fun getting into each movie individually and talking about it and just getting this all out.
there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there are a lot of
We're
them.
gonna have to dig through and pick,
Yeah, we're gonna have
you
to
know.
we're gonna have to pick. It's like, all right, what should we do next? What should we do next?
Well, I mean, we could do it by a pinnacle one at that year. You could break it down by year, like let's do 1981,
Yeah,
1982,
yeah,
or maybe do two within the year.
yeah. Like
Two
slasher.
standouts
Yeah,
of 81. You know,
absolutely. And this is
um,
yeah,
and
and this is
I think people will like that.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I would like that. I would love to talk about all that stuff, and it's just always a fun time talking about any movies in general, but especially that era. And it's unfortunate that our time is coming to an end. And I think we pretty much summed up in this time what we're gonna do. And then some, of course we're gonna go on tangents because it's just what we do when we're talking horror and all these types of movies. There's
Teen films too.
yeah,
There
exactly.
was a lot of them, man.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, dude, like
Teen,
I was actually listening to this soundtrack. I don't know if you remember this one. Rocktober Blood. It is one of the greatest worst movies ever from the
that a slasher film?
yeah, it's a slasher film. It's a musician who went on a killing spree, died, came back to life, and went on another killing spree. Yeah,
Some of them slipped through the cracks for me, for
yeah.
sure. I don't know them all. We're not going to talk about the real bad one. It's
Oh no, 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 no.
like
Of course.
Sledgehammer, the VHS ones,
Yeah.
video violent.
No, dude.
Those are no disrespect to them, but we're going to
Absolutely
talk
not.
about ones that were
Absolutely not. I mean,
had a story to them.
in all honesty, with Rocktober Blood, the best part of the movie was just the soundtrack because it was all like 80s rock hair metal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway, like I said, the time is coming to a close. We don't really have much time left. So,
We will let you know what movie we're going to do and promote it, and hopefully you guys will be interested in it and watch it.
absolutely, we're gonna do everything we can to post this stuff on like Facebook, uh, you know, start a page on Facebook, Spotify, Apple, whatever we can. And yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully
the
people
Retro
like
Film
this
Podcast.
retro film podcast. I'm Giuseppe.
Neal D, and it's retro slasher films from the golden era and teen coming of age films from the 80s golden era.
Rock on. Well, this concludes the introduction episode of the Retro Film Podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we did recording it. So if you feel like you're interested in what we're doing, please keep listening, like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate all the support as much as we enjoy watching these movies. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you join us for future episodes.